So welcome everyone to the second installment of our virtual speaker series for National Indigenous History Month. I'm John here at the Simcoe County Museum. I'm very honored to have with us today Stephen Brunelle, who is a visual artist from the LaFontaine area, currently getting ready to open a show at the Metivier Gallery in Toronto on June 24th. And we're really honored and excited to have him here this afternoon to share his story. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn things over to him. So take it away, Stephen.
Okay, well, thank you, John. And I am also very honored to be here this afternoon on National Aboriginals Day month. And so my name is Stephen Brunelle. I am a visual artist from LaFontaine, which is about 15 minutes north of here. A beautiful French Canadian community, where my last name comes from. My father was born and raised here in Penetang, LaFontaine. And hello? You there? You there, John?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I just hid from you for a second. No worries.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so getting back to my father, he was born and raised in LaFontaine. He, my great grandfather, Louis Brunelle, married a Métis woman by the name of Jenny Dusson. So I have ancestry from Drummond Island. When they migrated here from Drummond Island back in the early 1800s, and my mother was Algonquin from our reserve in Kitigan-Zibi, which is 100 miles northeast of Ottawa. Beautiful community. I guess they rely on a lot of fishing and fishing industry, and it's pretty well the gateway to the north of Quebec. I don't get to go there very often, but very proud to be part of that reserve. And so I've always been an artist, and basically it was just a hobby in the past, and a fun hobby. You know, I worked, I had to pay the mortgage, and now here we are live at my niece's store, which is part of the Midland Cultural Center. And like I was telling John a while ago, it's my second home coming here. I feel really comfortable coming into the gallery because I had a well-received first showing here back in 2022. And I had as you can see behind me, I have a piece of art here. It's 48 by 36, and they're all that size. I had 16 of them on that that first show I did, and it was well received. Sold quite a few, and then over the winter time I sold a few more, and doors have opened up for me, and so I've been given a second chance to come up with another series of paintings. So last winter I was really busy coming up with I had 14 pieces. 12 of them are down in the city at the Metivier Gallery, and my show starts on June 24th. You locking yourself in for the day? And yeah, we really busy here at the store. People are we're trying to Hunter's trying to have lunch. I'm trying to talk, and people are trying to come in and buy it. And people are coming into the store. That's okay. That's a good thing, right? Um, so, um, so I was getting back to lockdown during 2021 when I purchased some canvas. I rearranged my studio, started fresh, and working on larger pieces with lots of vibrant colors. And the one behind me here was the first of 16, and it was called Sundance. Now it's one of my favorites because it was the first one that I did, and it was a real breakthrough for me. I really saw what I can do, and it made me want to do more. And so coincidentally, Sundance um, is the title for my show in Toronto. It's kind of like the Sundance Project, and so I'm gonna be using that Sundance theme as my brand to keep as a Sundance project. It's going to keep on rolling because in a lot of my art you'll see the sun in the background and the moon, but by adding the vibrant colors, it seems that the sun dances, and so that's why I've come up with Sundance for my brand in the future, and then for future shows. And so that's just this one here has really no mythical stories or folklore or any kind of it's just a real abstraction piece of art that you look in you got to look into it and then figure out your own story. But on the other hand, out of the 16 that I did that winter, I quite a few of them have mythological stories behind them. For one of them was Keepers of the Tomb. I don't know if you're familiar here with Georgian Bay, but we have an island out here we call Giant's Tomb. And so the story is that there was a giant called Kitchikawana, and he created the 30,000 islands by hoisting stones and rocks into the air, and then they landed and they formed the 30,000 islands and all the inland lakes. And then the story continues on where he was so tired after creating the 30,000 islands, he lied down to rest, and the island looks like a tomb. It looks like a body. So that's where they come up with the legend of the Kitchikawana, the legend of the giant who created the 30,000 islands. And so it's stuff like that that makes a really good topic and subject for my art. And and then I have a piece in Toronto that's following up from that Kitchikawana, the Keepers of the Tomb. I have a piece in Toronto that's called Awake the Giant. So the story continues, John, where if the giant is awakened prematurely, he will start hoisting stones and rocks again, and it'll be the end of the world. So I portrayed this piece called Awake the Giant, where it looks like an evil entity is kind of lifting up the giant and trying to wake him up. And not all my pieces are dark, but it's just because with such the mythology and folklore in the native system, it just seems like it's sorcery and a lot of interesting mythology stories come out of that. Very inspiring because you can like the Kitchikawana story. I've got 2 pieces of art out of it, and it seems like whenever the stories can continue as the art can flow with the stories, it makes a good subject, right? And by inspiration, you can't ask for better inspiration with Georgian Bay right at your feet, and and the rich history here, not only with the indigenous history, but the Métis history is really deep here, really rich. And, with the mission here, St. Marie among the Hurons, where my sisters and my mother worked, great inspiration there. Um, living out in the country, going for walks can be really inspiring. It's simple for me. It's really simple. Gardening, just being outdoors in the summertime, and it doesn't have to be and then, like I say, having the MCC with the new format here really is really inspiring, and uh, you know inspiration is easy to find for me. When people ask, I just say it's simple. I just look out my studio window, and you know got some ideas ahead of me, and paints and brushes, and um, you know inspiration is hard to find for a lot of people. I think over the pandemic, it was hard for musicians, visual artists to come around, and I found myself locking myself down, and I tell people I had the best winter of my life back in 2021, and it's kind of selfish to say that, but I did have the best winter of my life, and I did what I did what I wanted to do all my life since I was a little boy, right? And since I was 3 years old, my mother said, apparently my mother told me that I want to be an artist when I was 3 years old. So something was there back then, and I just had to, you know, you know, um, develop my own style, and some people do it, find out early, and some people, like myself, it took a little later, but I was too busy getting my degree in life, and
Yeah.
it it gives you it, not saying that I had, I did a lot of different jobs before being an artist, and some of them were like I say, cooking and landscaping, construction, did all kinds of things, and there's nothing wrong with that. If for people out there that are listening, and you know if you think you want to be a contractor, go for it, because you can. If you want to be a musician, go for it. And like myself, becoming an artist, and always, and like I say, I wanted to be an artist since I was 3 years old, and it's just been permeating in me, like, for the last 30 years. Like, come on, let's get going here, and like, crazy to say, but it took 57 years in a pandemic to get me out of my shell, and you know um, it's weird to say, but probably if the pandemic wouldn't have happened, I would probably be wouldn't be here with you. I'd probably be, ditch digging or doing something, getting by. I'm a gypsy. I never really had a real job. I'm just a gypsy. I never really held a job for more than a year and a half. I've always just bounced around, and found my thing. I guess things happen for a reason. It's what I've been told a lot of times, and here we are. Um, let's see, what else can we talk about, John? Can you ask me a question or so? Can you ask me a question?
Yeah, well, yeah, I had a couple questions just from what you were saying so far, because I wonder, like, just for the sake of people who don't know the backstory as much, but I wonder, even just for that piece behind you there, that was your first painting in this series that kind of changed things for you, right? Because
Yeah.
so, like, when you sat down and started working on that, like, how did that kind of come about? Like, what was going on? What was your process? Like, what was going on with you when you were started working on that, and that became like a series that kind of changed everything for you? Like, how did
Well,
that kind of come about, that piece there?
that piece came about from a black and white image that I had done in the past, because I had like 6 or 7 black and white images, and I was really proud of the black and whites, but and I was trying to sell them in the past, and so I took I guess I got a little frustrated, and I said, well, no one wants to buy this stuff anymore, so I pretty well gave a lot of my old art away, and I just started fresh, but I used these black and white images to get me going. Um, to get, because I'll start off with the black. I'll do the black outlining on one coat, and then I'll work in the colors, and I'll bring in the colors for 2 or 3 coats, and then I'll finish off with black on the second coat. And so like doing the black and white is kind of the hardest part, but I'm pretty good at it because I've got a lot of experience in the black and white, and the abstraction just comes naturally for me, John. Uh, I've always been an abstract artist, but combining the woodland style and my black and white, and then adding the vibrant colors, just like when I started adding the colors, like I was just using up some old paint that I had lying around for like 20 years. So I just started going nuts with the color, and it just opened my eyes. It was like, wow, this is the way it's going to be. You know.
Yeah,
So.
like what was your reaction when you finished that? Like when you kind of stepped back and you were looking at it? Like was there a moment when you're like, okay, I'm done, and then you kind of step back and look at it, and what was your reaction?
This particular piece, I stood back and I said, I'm kind of on a roll, so I started another one. So I put it aside, and then I kind of got back into it a few weeks later to finish it off, because like when you're on a roll, you just you get to a point where you think, okay, it's 90% done. I know what I'm going to do. I'll put it aside then, because I'm on a roll. I'll start another one,
Hmm.
and so um, yeah, it was just fun. It was just fun to do. Like after I looked at it, and after I pondered upon it, after I said, wow, look what I can do here, and I think I found my style, and that's the conclusion I came to, is that yeah, I finally found my style. I've had it all the time, but I just had to, like I say, uh, mix up the abstraction and the color and the woodland style, and not and I don't mean to be naive. I don't really know who's making a splash in the art world. I just kind of like keep to myself, and
Mhm.
so I don't try to copycat or follow anybody else's art. And that was, like I say, that was my biggest goal, was to you know develop that my own style. So
Yeah, that's cool. And so I guess like the change though, I guess what changed, what kind of brought this series about, which you kind of said already, was like the pandemic, right? The fact that you're not you're not going out and working every day, like you're able to kind of settle into the studio and just paint every
yeah,
day, which you'd never really been able to do before, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I was able to save up a few bucks for the winter, and just like really tuck tight, and tuck in there,
that's cool. So was it
Yeah,
something like you just decided to do that, right? Or it was just you saw the opportunity and you decided to take it to just like settle in and just paint?
yeah, yeah. We couldn't go anywhere, so once a
Yeah.
week you go to shopping, and then and I got into a good routine where I really I like it a lot. I like to start a piece of art on a Friday, and
Okay.
I'll work all weekend at it. Lately now, with the sun being out so late, I can work till 8, 9 o'clock now, and so I've kind of got into a good routine where if I do have something to do during the week, well, I got the weekend to I'm not one to party anymore or go out. There's nowhere to go anyway, so
Yeah.
you just stay home and work. Like other people that are out spending their money, I'm staying home making it. So that's
Yeah.
how I look at it.
Yeah. And then I wonder, so like I guess kind of the next thing, like after you made these paintings, right? The next thing that kind of changed things for you is that first show, right? So I wonder if you could just kind of tell that story a little bit, like how that kind of came about.
Oh, well, it was very overwhelming. You know, with the local newspapers interviewing me. I had the two local newspapers interviewed me and put up a good article. I was on CTV Barrie and CTV Toronto, and that was very overwhelming. In front of the camera and not live, but and then I had another interview with the Globe and Mail before the Christmas. And that was a lot of fun. So it's been really overwhelming with all the um, all the what am I looking for? All of what am I looking for, Hunter? I forget. Anyhow, it was just really overwhelming, and
Yeah.
and basically you're on a high for a few months even after. Like you're just everybody's congratulating you and saying, "Oh, geez, I saw you on TV." And for me, I didn't even see the article on TV. I just heard about it, and I get a one of my buddies at Horseshoes. He goes, I googled you up. You're all over the map. I said, well, I don't even know how to Google myself. Like, I'm not like I say, I don't. I'm like I say, I don't know what's going on in the art world, and now I'm starting to understand that maybe I'm the one who's making a splash in the art world, and so
That's cool.
we'll see, because I like my neighbor said, he goes, holy geez, you went from Midland right to downtown Toronto. He goes, you didn't even stop in Barrie. you know so yeah, it's been very inspiring, and what they did here for me, they also made a video that winter back in March. A young fellow came in and did a little 5, 10, 15-minute video, I guess. I don't know if you had access to that, but did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so
it was cool.
That was kind of funny. He was a young fella. He's came into the house, and we had a good time, and like I say, it's like for a shy guy, it's quiet guy. It's been really quite a ride, and like I say, inspiring, and like I say, I'll say it again. Follow your dreams. No matter what you want to do. If you're good at you're good at your hands, go for it. If you're good at your head, use that too, right? So
That's cool. So I guess so you have this show in Toronto, and it's like where would you want to go from here? Or what are you kind of thinking? Are you thinking beyond that show, or is that just kind of, I imagine that's taking up a lot of your energy right now too?
well, kind of like what I did my first show here. The doors opened up for me, and then now I'm in Toronto. I'm guessing that doors are going to open up down there with more exposure. And my friend John wants to introduce me to the curator at the McMichael Gallery.
Oh, wow.
So who knows? There might be some kind of in-house residency program in the future where they lodge you up for a couple of weeks and you just do some art for them, right? So we'll see. A lot of things that the more and more you get into this art world, there's gigs. There's gigs to be sought out, and so it's just a matter of I just got to keep on producing some art, and I just purchased some larger canvas, so I'm going to be working with some 4 by 4 pieces, if not bigger, in the future. So
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So
So
how does it feel? Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just have a really good feeling that the Mativia Gallery in Toronto is going to open doors for me, and and we'll just go from there.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask is, like, how does it feel now that this is happening? It's something that's taken a long time, and then now it's kinda happening. So how does it feel for you to be
Well,
here now?
it feels good, and I'm living the dream
Mm,
basically, and it uh, it lost with words there, but yeah, it's hard to explain because, maybe if I would have been younger and getting this opportunity, I probably would have messed it up.
Yeah.
But seeing that I'm older and more mature, taking it, with, just going with the flow. I don't want to jump to conclusions. I'm just going with the flow, and that's the way I've always kind of been. So I'm just gonna take it day by day and see what sprouts up, because almost, like not every week, but for a while, every week I would be getting someone contacting me and, wishing me well, and or would you like an interview, and so it's just too much fun.
That's, well, that's cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I'm it's really cool that you're actually doing what you wanted to do and that's happening for you. And like, yeah, I'm just really happy that you're able to do like what you always wanted to do. Like that's really cool opportunity for you. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't know, like, was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, I can talk a little bit more about some of my art.
Sure.
Some of the pieces that I have in Toronto. I've got 12 of them down there.
Mm.
And did you see the images of the show here that I had, vaccine? Did you see that one?
Yeah, I saw the one from like that you had at the MCC. I saw some of those.
Yeah. Well, vaccine was a really interesting piece to do
Okay.
because, like at the time, I'm in my studio. I think it was, springtime.
Yeah.
And my mother phoned us up, says, you got to go and get your COVID shots. And they're, oh, well, at the time, I'm sure a lot of us, before we rolled up our sleeves, were doubting, what was going on. So I created a piece called Vaccine, which really kind of shows where um, good and evil are kind of battling, um, just like our inner selves were thinking, our inner voices were thinking, should I roll up my sleeve or should I just pass? Like, I know my buddy, he's not getting a shot. Why should I? So it was a kind of a mental thing to roll up your sleeve and dive in and do that, because so in a lot of my pieces, you'll see where there's a constant battle of good and evil. I'm not trying to get into some kind of you know religion thing here where there's God and the devil are fighting, but there's good people and there's bad people, and there's they're trying to, it's all in us. We have a lot of that in us, and we just have to control that inner voice once in a while, and try to be positive. And I think for myself, and I know for a fact that my art, by expressing my art in those good and bad ways, is like a really good therapy for me. And I think probably for people that want to take 5 minutes and look into my piece of art, look into a piece of art, and then they can get their own feelings. It's
Mm.
it's that kind of art where you look into it and then you get your own ideas and your own feelings. Because at the time, there was it was stale for a while, and I just thought, basically by adding colors, I just brightened up my life,
Mm.
and hopefully, the color is brightening other people's days, and and lives, to come, right? And I'm not saying I'm a big inspirational kind of guy, but I'd like to think that you know a young artist out there, or a young musician, or a young entrepreneur can follow their dreams no matter what age, and don't get discouraged. It's it's there. It's, right time, right place. You'll meet some people and creating your space. It's, and I have a piece of art that I'd like to tell you about that's in Toronto right now. It's called Landing of Atiensik. And Atiensik is also known as Sky Woman. She is a Iroquoian creation god who came down from a hole in the sky and landed on the back of a turtle with seeds in her hand. There's a longer story, but I'm trying to make it a little bit shorter for us. And so you're probably familiar with that creation story where the turtle island, where the expression turtle island comes from. Well, she landed on the back of the turtle, and I guess it was the beaver and other aquatic animals that went down and brought soil up and brought it to the top of the turtle's back, and that's when creation started, according to the Iroquoian, and the Huron here were Iroquoian people, so that's why I particularly like their mythological stories. So I have this piece of art of Atiensik. She's landing on the back of a turtle, and she comes down and she's pregnant with two twin boys. So which is really fun because that makes a good follow-up piece of art, because Atiensik favored the bad boy, the bad son. So there's going to be a lot more art coming out of that subject for me, because she there's a lot to read about her and express in art, and that's like I'm gonna probably do a series of art in the future with the two boys, right? The one was good, one was bad. One wanted the river to go the other way, one wanted the river to go, another way, and so. And for another little fact, that Atiensik, the creation god, is also represented in a 18-foot statue on top of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Not too many people know about that, but they really don't talk about it very often. But I would like to look into more about why or which president, or who wanted her to be on top of the Capitol building, and if there's an image of her on top of the Capitol building where she's shape-shifting into an eagle. They say she's shape-shifting into an eagle, and she was a shapeshifter, I guess. But anyhow, I just love those. I just love those kind of subjects where shape-shifting and mythology and um, makes for good art, and good stories. And so yeah, I'd like to know what direction she's facing. I'd like to know more about her and who carved her, and there's a lot of things to know, and it's right there, right on top of one of the most important structures in the world, right? And
Yeah.
and it's from our oral stories, and I find
Yeah.
that really interesting how they incorporated her on top of the Capitol building, and I'd like to know more about it. It's pretty cool. So she really has a good she makes good stories. I can make good stories from reading about her and her sons and how she landed here. And basically their god was a woman, if according to their stories.
Yeah, it's good. So it seems like, yeah, like a lot of your work is it's like inspired by nature, by your surroundings, like where you live,
Yeah.
where you grew up, but also there's like indigenous stories and mythology and kind of ways of understanding the world, like all these stories that have been passed down,
Yeah.
right? So I wonder, like, how do you come across those stories? Are those stories that you've kind of learned? Like, have you been told those stories, or do you research them? It sounds like maybe you read them a little bit, or like how
Yeah.
does that all kind of come about for you, understanding all that stuff?
I'm not a big bookworm, but I do like I did inherit a little bit of a few books from my mother, and basically when she was an interpreter at St. Marie and Marty Hurons, she had all this literature that she used, and she's passed it on to us, and I just like to peruse through there, and I'm just learning all this stuff now myself. My family and I weren't raised on a reservation or reserve, and my mother reconnected with her ancestry later on in life as an adult, and but she diligently worked really hard to get our status when we were in our teenage years, and it's been a gradual thinking and learning about our ancestors and the history, but it basically I was raised in a French community back then, and raised white, but now that the Métis community is very strong around here, so they come around, and so a lot of them are learning later on in life, just like I did, and so like I say, it's kind of all fresh for me, right? All these stories, and I kind of knew a little bit in the past, some legends and that, but now that I'm expressing it on canvas, it's makes it more interesting, and good topic to tell people when you do have a good when you do have a good piece of art and people want to talk about it. It works out really well.
Oh, that's cool. So I don't know, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? How are you feeling? What are you?
I'm okay. We can go on a little bit more.
Okay.
Let's see here. Well, you know what? I'm pretty well done my little list here, but if you have any more questions, I can answer.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just getting to know you too, so but it's been really cool getting to hear your story. I found out what I could before, but
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, it's a it's really interesting to hear you tell your story. It's an interesting story, and I mean, it's exciting too to be like. I appreciate you taking the time to kind of, you know, tell us about that and what's going on. And I'm excited for all the stuff that's happening for you. That's really cool. So, yeah, I appreciate you being here and sharing that. And it's inspiring too, right? It's like, yeah, just when things happen, when they're meant to happen, they'll happen, and
Yeah,
doesn't matter when they happen, right? It's yeah,
and don't try too hard.
yeah, yeah,
That applies to everything in life. You know,
yeah,
you know, that's what I've learned.
yeah.
Is if you try too hard, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, like I
And
can relate to that too. It's like it's sometimes you do better at something when you're just enjoying it and you're not trying to do something specific with it, right?
yeah,
But it's hard to kind of learn that.
yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I'll wrap it up then if I'll let you
Sure.
get on. Yeah,
I
because
can do, we can do a little virtual tour in the gallery there and show you some stuff.
sure,
Hey, want to
sure.
do that?
All right.
Oh, I guess I gotta unplug it. All right.
I've never been to the MCC either, so this is going to be
Well,
a really
like I
big
said,
tour for me.
here we go.
Okay.
It's it's my moose jacket that Jennifer made.
Oh, nice.
That's displayed here, and
Cool.
she'll take in orders. And we're just gonna go here. Some people having coffee and stuff.
Nice.
I'll go by the main desk. And this is the room that was. This room here was committed to our arts. I guess you can't really see that, eh?
Oh, I can see it. Yeah.
You see it now?
Yeah.
There's a beautiful porcupine quill birch bark box done by a local woman here from Christian Island, mostly
Okay.
First Nations. Yeah.
Cool.
And then over here we have some really nice birch bark. See that? Nice,
Yeah.
nice bowl made out of birch bark, and it's scratched. They scratch it underneath to make the patterns.
Yeah.
They scratch the bark.
Oh, that's so cool.
So anyhow, this is just a little bit of what's in here, but you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on next after this show, but you can keep in touch, and I think they're having a group show coming up of
Okay.
some of the artists that were here, including myself, and there's a couple of other artists. So there might be a group show coming up. I hope so, because I got some inventory to put in here. So
Yeah. Right. Cool.
yeah, but yeah, this is a beautiful beautiful building, and like I say, it's bustling right now. There's people around, and they're getting ready for. They do theater here, and they do music shows, and so a very inspiring place. You
Oh, that's
know,
awesome.
so I don't know. I just thought I'd go for a little tour. What do you think of that? It was not bad.
That's
I guess.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me want to come out there and see it in person now, so I think it worked.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. Come on out.
All right. Well, okay. Well, yeah, thank you, Stephen, for being here and sharing your story with us and sharing the MCC with us, because I know it's been a big place for you. It's been and it seems like it's an important place to the community too, and it's kind of made a
Yes.
big impact, right? It's a positive impact, so that's really cool.
Yeah, for me and my family, it has been very, very positive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, I'll
I'm sure,
yeah.
John. After John, we depart our ways. I'm gonna have some words. Some words will probably come to me after, but you know that's the way it always goes, right? Maybe there'll be other chances to talk again, face to face or whatever, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, yeah, no, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with us. Thank you, everyone, for watching this video, hopefully, or seeing Steven speak and share his story with you. Stay tuned. Next week, hopefully we'll have some more presenters next week. Sean Corbier, hopefully doing sharing some of his knowledge with us as well. Hunter, hopefully sharing some of her knowledge as well. And then at the end of the month, towards the end of the month, we'll have Charles Catchpole. We're really excited. He's going to do, I think, hopefully like a cooking demonstration, and you can kind of cook along at home and might be able to make something for dinner. That's what we're hoping to do. So he's going to walk us. Yeah, hopefully.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he said, yeah, he had a few ideas. It's something he did in COVID as well, like these cooking demonstrations. And
okay. Yeah.
And I guess he's been growing a lot of like kind of like pretty rare indigenous like vegetables and things like that. So he had some like rare squashes and stuff that you don't really find anywhere else. So it sounded like there's a lot of interesting things to see then too. So we're excited for that. And I mean, this is the first time we've done something like this, so it's nice to be able to do this, and hopefully folks can tune in to, there's lots more interesting stuff coming up the rest of the month. So
okay, well, thank you, and I hope I did okay.
You did great. No, it's been awesome. Yeah, thank you for doing that. It was nice to get to meet you virtually a little bit and hear your story. And yeah, hopefully we'll stay in touch.
Well, more to come.
Yeah, and let me know if you think whatever you think of. If you forgot anything. I don't think you missed anything major, but I know it's never perfect.
I'm just saying, there's always that feeling after. Oh, I should have said that, or but hey, what are you gonna do, right?
No, I know. I can relate. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for meeting us, and
Yeah.
all best of luck with the show too. I know it's going to be great, and I hope you have a good opening and that all goes really well. And yeah, all the best.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay. All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye.